Hi guys, how are you? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Today we'll be doing something a bit different. Today we'll be putting together a watch. Now this has been made possible with the help of the people from DIY Watch Club. I reached out to them. I asked them if I can do a review on one of their kits, and they were happy enough to send one over. I get to keep it after the review is over, the video is over. So just full disclosure, keep that in mind as the video goes along. So what is DIY Watch Club? Basically, DIY Watch Club is a website where you go and you choose a watch or a particular style. They do 2 or 3 styles. I'll put links in the description box below. You get to choose the case, the dial, the hands, the strap, and they will send you home this kit with everything you need to put a watch together. I see this as a very good opportunity to offer this as a gift to somebody that's into watches, or a good opportunity for you to see if you're good at, putting things together, or if you're a watch enthusiast. Now, what I have here today, I have the Expedition version, I think it's called, and I chose this because I actually particularly like this. I'm not that big into divers at the moment, so I'm going through the phase of more dress watchy kind of style, more of the this particular style. So I got him to send me a different dial as well. But what I will do in this video, I will try and put together my best version of this particular style, this particular watch that we have here today. So let's get into it. Now, as you can see here, guys, I've chosen a couple of tools. It's something that I already bought. I had around the house. So I had a movement holder, and also I had the little cushion, as you see here on the right hand side. And as you will realize, I'm not particularly good at doing this, and even with that movement holder, I didn't actually find myself needing it in the end. But hey, I gave it my best shot. I found out afterwards that I should have just stick to what they were suggesting in the instructions. Now, I chose 2 dials here. The one on the right was the basic dial that came with it, and the one on the left is it's a sandwich dial, the one that I requested. They were nice enough to send that through, so I opted for that particular one. Now, what I'm doing here, I am putting the dial first on the movement. Prior to this, I've tested the movement to see if everything turns properly and if the date turns okay. Now, what they do, they will give you instructions. So you can scan one of the barcode on the back of one of those cards that you see in front of my hands there, and they will show you all the necessary instructions on how to do this properly. So don't do as I do, or do as I do, but unless you know what you're doing. But that would be they do provide all the instructions to make this as easy as possible. Now, what I'm doing here, I'm trying to put the sandwich dial together to put that on top of the movement. Now, as you can see here, I'm struggling a little bit because it keeps coming off, and I'm using this little puffer because I actually like the action. It's very, very addictive also, but at the same time, dust sets in very, very easy. Now, as you can see, I ditched the movement holder, so I'm using the cushion again, another AliExpress purchase that I had bought previously for intending to do a mod. And now the movement, the dial has these little feet, which I was really anxious not to snap, and they do align really nice in the plastic housing around the movement there. So you just have to be very careful when you press it. Now, you do have to apply a bit of pressure, but also at the same time it won't slide in very easy. But also at the same time, you just have to make sure you align it properly so you don't snap the little legs. Now, the dial kind of came apart, but managed to put it back together in the end. Now, I'm going to try and put the hands on. What they do, they send you a few spares as well. So what I have here, I have the hands for the regular dial that they send, and I have the hands for this particular dial that I chose. So they would send you a few spares. Now, as you can see here, I'm trying to rip it apart. Now, it's not the best idea. So in the end, what I'll eventually do, I will probably get scissors so I don't damage the hands. Now, this is one of the trickiest parts for everybody. So if you're a bit anxious, or if you had too much coffee in the morning, this might be a bit of a tricky step for you. So what I'm doing here, I'm trying to align first the hour hand. So they do provide this Rodico as well. It helps to put the hands on. Now what I did here, so don't do as I do. What I did here, I've used the tweezers. So I became overly friendly with the tweezers. Now these are metal. I'm not sure exactly what kind of metal they are, but you'll see in the end that if you don't do this right, you can end up damaging the hand, the hour hand. So this is one of the trickiest parts, because I struggled a little bit here, but eventually, out of the three hands, this is the easiest one to put put on the pinion and to align. So you just have to be very, very careful, but eventually you will get there. So I'm just aligning properly the hour hand there at 12 o'clock. Just apply a tiny bit of pressure until you hear a tiny bit of a small snap, and you will you could tell that it's in place. So now, as you can see here, I'm trying to get it straight because I pushed it in and it wasn't properly aligning with the 12 o'clock. I'm using the tweezers again. Shouldn't have used the tweezers. Should have used a different part, and I got a bit obsessed with cleaning here, or I was cleaning what I thought was a speck of dust, but it wasn't. It turned out in the end to be a scratch from the tweezers. Like I said, I got overly friendly with the tweezers. They will give you a wooden stick as well, a wooden peg, I think it's called. You see that I have on the top left of the corner, top left of the screen there, to help me. To help you do this, to help you align the hand properly so you don't scratch it. Now, as I'm showing you guys here, I did scratch the hand, so I have to take it apart. Now, they'll give you this small little thing that slides under the hands, and hand remover tools. So you just remove that. Now, like I said, they do send the spare, so I'm just going to try and put the spare on. But this time, I will try not to use the tweezers, because again, big mistake. I don't want to scratch this one again. So this time, as you can see, I'm only using Rodico or the wooden stick, so this doesn't happen again. Now I'll sped up the image a little bit here because you don't want to see me keep doing this at normal speed, but this was quicker than the previous one, so I had a bit of experience. Now this worked properly. Again, I'm aligning it. And now I'm testing the hand to see that if it aligns properly with all the times, and also at 12 o'clock if the date turns. So that was a success. Again, clean with the Rodico. I just kind of love that thing, and it removes every little speck of dust. And again, just one more time, just to make sure it's nice and it doesn't fall off. Again, remember, don't use the tweezers, just use the stick. Second thing, so now I am putting the minute hand on. This is a bit thinner, so this will be a bit trickier, but again, not as tricky as the second hand, you will see. But if you get to align this properly, you'll be able to do it with no problem whatsoever. Now, what happens with the hour hand, with the minute hand, I found that if you put too much pressure on, you might end up bending it a little bit, and it will hit the it will rub on the hour hand. So just be very, very careful when you put the pressure on. Just apply pressure evenly. So what I'm doing here, as you can see, I'm just trying to align it properly, and just also making sure that it doesn't rub against the hour hand. So I'm turning, and also making sure that it aligns properly at 12, 3, 6, and all those hours. And so far so good. So as you can see here, it works properly. I've kind of done it 2 more times. Nope, that's a lot. That's perfectly fine. So that's a success. Now the next and final step in this whole thing is to put the seconds hand on. So that was a success. Now wish me luck. Again, Rodico, because the seconds hand is absolutely wafer thin, so this is extremely easy to bend. Bit of a silence there, moment of silence. So I think it worked in the first go. again using the tweezers here, but I've learned and now I know how to apply this. I do need the tweezer just to make sure that it doesn't rub on any of the hands, well, the minute hand. So now put the crown back in. Yes, and it worked perfect. As you can see here, it ticks nicely. And one last thing, I think it might reach the minute hand there and it will stop. So I have to take the pull the crown out again and just lift the second hand a tiny bit more, because the it rubs on the hour hand. So once that's done, we can move out to the final step. So what I'm doing here, I'm just slowly bending upwards. Like I said, if you don't apply even pressure when applying the hands, they will bend, and you have this misalignment, and they will rub against each other. Now what I did here, I tried to straighten it up, and the minute hand fell off. I don't know if you can tell here in this picture. So now I have to remove the entire thing and just start all over again from scratch. So I have to remove all the hands, everything, and start over from scratch. Now this should be a quicker process now, since I have experience in putting the hands on, and I tried again, and I have to say that I was a bit more successful the second time around. So I'll remove these. Again, just be very, very careful not to damage the pinion. Even pressure, and you can just pull them out, and as you can see, they'll come out very, very easy. Now, so what I did here, I've already put the I sped up the process. I already put the dial on and the hands, so that's working fine. I didn't want to show it to you guys the second time around because the first one was a mistake. As you can see, I'm using the movement holder again, which was a better success this time. So I just use it so I can just hold it in place with the dial on, so I don't scratch it, just to remove the stem. Now what we will do, as you can see, now we're going to try and put the movement in the case. Just cleaning the case a little bit more. We have it there. Now we're just going to peel off all the stickers off the case. I think I did it already. And this is a screw down crown, and I think it's 100 meter or 200 meter water resistant. Now the crown that it comes with it was already screwed in the case. They will give you, as you can see, this the case back opening tool. Now you have this plastic holder inside for the dial, and you have the rehaut, I think it's called, or chapter ring, sorry, and this metal holder that keeps the dial not going too far in the case. So you just have to be patient, and you just have to make sure you put this in the right order. So what you do, basically, you put the chapter ring on top of the dial, you align it properly. Again, obviously, more Rodico. This will nicely, again, it has these little pins that align nicely with the plastic holder, and they will just slide on top of the case. Again, be very, very gentle when you press in, because those little legs, they might snap and you might find yourself. Now the actual chapter ring, this is made out of plastic, so if you snap those legs, you can't bend it back. So just be very, very careful here. I was trying to align them properly just to make sure that they go in. Now I did have a couple of slip ups, and I think I bent one of them, but eventually it went in, and there was no issues with it. As you can see here, I'm trying to straighten it up, so I was very, very afraid that it might be a bit loose in the case, but it wasn't the case. So, oh, sorry, no pun intended. Thought it was a bit loose, but I managed to get it on. Again, I don't mind the finger cuffs, because I have black on the left hand and yellow on the right hand. I don't know why I did that. I just, for the crack. Now, so that's aligned properly, perfect. Again, clean the dial again, more Rodico, because I think this is the theme of the video. Rodico again on the hands just to make sure, and it was probably for my safety just to make sure that I don't scratch it again. Now I'm putting it in the case, so the movement should slide in really nice. As you can see here, I think you're supposed to put it on the left hand side first, where the tunnel is for the crown, and it will slide in perfectly. Now I'm just checking it to see if it's okay, if everything's aligned properly here, so, or if there's any specks of dust before I actually close the case. Now I'm just putting the crown in. This should align the rest of the movement perfect. That screws in properly, and just put the case back on. Now at this stage I was pretty confident here when I did this that everything was working okay. Now this took me longer than the actual video, so it's 11 minutes, but the entire process took me around 40 or 45 minutes. It's a very nice watch, and they call it the Expedition. Now I've opted for this dial, the sandwich dial, but in the end I'm not entirely sure how it worked with the black chapter ring. You'll see that it matches the strap properly, but then again I do have the other one, the other strap, the other dial as well, so if I want I can just swap it anytime around. And now the finishing touches, which is the strap. Now there you go, and it's finished. I do apologize for having a very messy table there. So we'll now just see how it looks on wrist, guys. There you go. I think this is 39mm in diameter, 20mm lug width, and it's not very thick. It's about 13mm thick, and it does fit really nice on my 6.3 inch wrist. Be sure to check their website out. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much for watching. Please click a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't so. Be sure to check out my other videos. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.